So it seems that there's a pattern being established here, and it's not difficult to see once it's laid out for you like that. Namely that a shadowy character, potentially an entirely mythical character created out of whole cloth by Pentagon's PSYOP units, goes on to become the leader of this shadowy terrorist organization, committing heinous act after heinous act, even as he is being reported and re-reported and re-reported as arrested and escaped and re-arrested and arrested again and killed another time and killed once more for good measure until finally receiving his final retirement party. And the only question then is, does Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi fit into this pattern? And the answer, of course, is you bet he does. And we can get a flavor of this, again, just by going through the official timeline of what's been reported about Baghdadi over the years since he gained the spotlight. And a flavor of the confused nature of this reporting, quote-unquote, mockingbird repeating, really, is given even by the Wikipedia entry on Baghdadi, which notes that al-Baghdadi is believed to have been born near Samarra, Iraq in 1971. It quotes a semi-authorized biography, whatever that means exactly, to talk about biographical details of his family life. It notes that al-Baghdadi claimed to have been descended from the Quraysh tribe and therefore from Muhammad himself, but there's no evidence to back up this claim. Again, a lot of confused and muddied details that may or may not be true and are admitted to not really be hammered down because, once again, this character kind of popped up out of nowhere and appeared on the scene. Sounds a lot like the other PSYOPs operations that have already been noted as previous leaders of this terrorist organization. But that being what it is, we do know that it's following the 2003 invasion and occupation, the illegal invasion and occupation of Iraq, that this Baghdadi character became part of the insurgency. And in 2004, February of 2004, he was arrested by U.S. forces. By December of 2004, he was officially released from Camp Bucca as a low-level prisoner. That is the official story, although the former commander of that camp has asserted on the record that Baghdadi was there until at least 2009, when the camp was turned over to the Iraqi government. And how does he remember this? Because he specifically remembers Baghdadi telling his captors that he would see them in New York, quote-unquote. So that's part of this story. The actual commander of the camp flat out contradicts the official record that says he was released in 2004. That being what it is, by May of 2010, he must have been a free man because we know at that point that's where he took over ISIS from the retired fictional character Abu Omar al-Baghdadi. In December of 2012, he was reportedly arrested by an Iraqi counterterrorism unit, so we can dust our hands, that problem is solved. Until November of 2014, where apparently he must have been a free man once again because he was reportedly killed in an air raid on a 10-truck convoy outside of Mosul. Then by March of 2015, he had been magically resurrected to have been injured in an airstrike in western Iraq that had apparently left him so seriously injured that he had lost day-to-day control of ISIS. By October of 2015, he was at least in good enough health to have been escaping in some sort of convoy in Anbar province, where he was once again narrowly escaping death after his convoy was struck. But by June 2016, it was all okay again because he was reported killed once again in a coalition strike on Raqqa. But then somehow he was resuscitated and reportedly at death's door once again by October 2016, after having been poisoned by an assassin in Iraq. An oddly specific report. Well, he must have recovered from that poison, because by May of 2017, the ordeal was over when the Russians claimed it may have killed Baghdadi in an airstrike on Raqqa. Well, whether or not they did, the whole series of events was laid to rest in July of 2017, when the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, which is the very portentous, incredible, monumental name for Osama Suleiman, aka Rami Abdul Rahman, living in his house in Coventry, who single-handedly reports everything coming out of Syria and is then repeated by the MSM, and Even establishment lapdog Time dutifully notes that he is considered a more reliable source than others because his reports about events in Syria are frequently cited by international news organizations. Talk about a circular argument. He swore that Baghdad, quote, really is dead this time, end quote, after an undescribed counter in Syria's Deir el-Zur province. But sadly for Suleiman, Baghdadi himself popped up the next month to refute that claim. So there you go. Claim after claim after claim after claim, death, arrest, capture, poisoning, whatever. Continuing to survive to fight another day until it appears they're willing to go out and stick their net out once again and say, no, really this time, he's really dead. But don't worry about the fact that this may solve anything or bring the never-ending war of terror to an end, because as an anonymous regional intelligence official, is how they're naming him, has assured Newsweek, Baghdadi was, quote, not involved in operations or day-to-day of ICISIS. And anyway, ICISIS has already appointed a new leader, Haji Abdullah al-Afari. Well, there's a new name to conjure terror by, so let the games begin again. If all of this has you, well, retching in disgust at the blatant propagandistic nature of these terror boogeymen that are dragged out one after another to scare the population. Look at the scary bearded man. He's going to get you. Oh, we got him. Yay. We're the good guys. We win again. If this is getting you sick and tired of hearing the same old lies, well, we should keep in mind that the most likely explanation for this remarkable career that these terrorist masterminds seem to embark upon, namely that we have just witnessed yet another retirement party for yet another faithful intelligence asset or a completely mythical character created by the intelligence agencies, that explanation will be completely ignored by the MSM, just as it was the last time that we were fed this story.